Hi, I'm Mike Hiding with Sonny's Water Systems by Velocity. Today I'm going to show you how to start up, install, and set up your water softener. First thing we're going to do when we set up our water softener is find our spot where we're going to put the tanks, set them in place in a nice level ground. If it's not level, we need to make sure that they're level. Second thing we're going to do is make sure that our spacing is good. We need a minimum of 6 inches in between tanks, and if you buy our Ple-Prom manifold, they will be set up for a 6-inch gap in between the tanks. Next thing we're going to do is spin the heads on and find the front of the tank. Once you have identified where the front of the tank is going to be, we can mark it with a piece of tape, a Sharpie, whatever you have. Mark the front of the tank, spin the head back off. Next thing we're going to do is make sure that our laterals inside of the tank are all in good shape. You can use a bright light to shine down in there. They'll be at the bottom, look like little fingers. We're going to make sure that those are all in place and not broken off before we start anything else. After you determine that the laterals are all in good shape and not broken off, we're going to fill the tank about 1/3 full with water so that when we pour the gravel and other media in, that we do not disturb the laterals or break them off. Next, we're going to take the funnel, which comes with the system. We're going to insert it into the tank, and we're going to grab our gravel, and we're going to pour our gravel in slowly while we hold the distributor pipe down and flush with the bottom of the tank so it does not pop up. Once the gravel is all poured in, you can pour in the resin. If you look in the manual, there's going to be a chart in there that's going to tell you exactly how many bags of resin and how many bags of gravel need to go into each tank. Once the tank is full, we can remove the funnel, and then we want to fill the tank the rest of the way with water, about up to there. Once we have our tanks full of all of the media and water, we can now put the heads on. Once we have the heads spin on, we can do all of our plumbing, connecting plumbing. So once our heads are threaded onto our tanks, and we got to make sure that we have valve A on the left side, valve A or B on the right side with this system. We can go ahead and do the plumbing. So we are going to connect our inlet plumbing to the inlet side and our outlet plumbing to the outlet side. Drain fitting up top. Drain line flow control is very important. Without the drain line flow control, you will wash all of your resin out. So we need to make sure the drain line flow control is inserted or is installed and installed properly. Also need to make sure that our drain line is proper size, and you can reference the manual for that also. All of our manuals are located on the back of our cover. If we pull the cover off, there's going to be a QR reader on the back if you can't find the manual. Once we have all the plumbing done, we can look at the programming. Programming is very simple. We're going to just have to program the time of day and the hardness on these systems. So to set the time of day, we're just going to hold the set clock button. Our hours will start flashing, and we're going to set the clock to whatever hour it is, and then we're going to set the minutes to the minutes. Hit the next button. Once we have that set, we can set our day of the week, and we're back to our main screen. Next thing we need to do is set our hardness. If you had your water tested with Velocity, we can do this setting for you before it leaves the manufacturing plant. We would just need to have that information back from you. If not, you need to test the raw water coming in and set the hardness. To set the hardness, we're going to hold our next and our plus button. We're going to push them in at the same time, hold them in, and the hardness setting will pop up. All of our water softeners here from Velocity are going to go out set at 20 grains of hardness as a default setting. So if your hardness is different, we're going to need to change it right here. And you can use the minus and plus buttons to set the hardness to whatever it needs to be according to what your tests were. Once you have it set, you can hit the next button. Everything else in here will be set to default settings, so you can just keep hitting next until you get back to your time of day screen. Once we have everything connected, we can fill it with salt. We're always going to want to keep that salt level above the water level in the brine tank, and then we're off and running. So to connect the brine line into the tank, we're going to remove the brine well cover, insert our hose through the side, and into our fitting on the air check. If you have the Caliber water softener series, instead of setting the hardness on this system, you're going to set the actual capacity in gallons. If you open the box, there's a QR reader inside. That QR reader is going to give you step-by-step instructions along with the gallon settings that would collaborate. To set the capacity on this, we're going to hit our check mark, which is going to bring us into our menu, and we're going to scroll down using the arrow to advanced setup. We're then going to hit the check mark again, Scroll down to number 2, regen setup. Hit the check mark again, and our first item there is going to be our total capacity. To set that, we are going to hit our check mark, and we can use the arrows to scroll through, and if you hold the arrow down, it will start to scroll fast. Once you get to your capacity setting, which you're going to base off of what it says inside of the cover on the chart, once you hit the check mark to save, you can hit the X and X all the way back out to our main screen. That is the startup, install, and setup process for the water softener by Sonny's Water by Velocity.